We were just moving along through the topics of marriage. And we did this nice review here about divorce yesterday. Alhamdulillah. And now I'm just thinking, what's left? We covered the marriage contract itself. And we put the marriage contract into our dealing gauge, if you remember. And we talked about the obligations of the husband and wife. And we talked about divorce and khula. And along with that, we talked about iddah. When we talked about the obligations, that included support. So what's left in these topics of marriage? The basics, that is. And we also talked about having more than one wife. Let me ask you, if a man has more than one wife, he's obligated, I just want a number. Tell me a number, please. He's obligated to be fair with his wives in how many things? 5, 4. 2 things, correct answer. Someone said time. Not a correct answer. Firstly, because I was looking for a number, and also because the answer is 2. So there's another thing. Time is one of them. And the other one is what? Three, 2. One and a half. 1. The other thing is support. So if he has more than one wife, then he has to be equal with them in time and support. And support means not that he has to spend the same amount of money on them. It means that he has to support them. All. Okay. So the only thing that comes to my mind that's amongst the important basics left in these topics of marriage is custody. Is there something that I mentioned for you before and now slipping me? If so, remind me amongst the topics. Disobedience of the wife. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. I knew something was there. Yeah, Nushooz. Let's cover the Nushooz. Thank you. The disobedience of the wife or the rebellion of the wife. What is that? What constitutes that? She's going to be called Nashes. Either spouse could be Nashes. The spouse could be Nashes. The man, the husband, I mean. Is she Nashiza with that marbuta? Nashiza? I'm remembering just Nashes. Maybe I'm mistaken there. This means in the state of Nushooz. It's possible the husband would be Nashes towards his wife, but it doesn't have the same religious judgment. What is the wife's Nushooz? It is her refusing her husband and it is her leaving his place without his permission, such as running away from him. It's not her snapping at him. That's not Nushooz. Or raising her voice at him, or expressing her frustration with him. That's not Nushooz. Because this is frequent. Nor is it her playing with him. I mean, like she's playing hard to get. That's not Nushooz. So what happens because of this Nushooz? The woman loses her right to support and her right to return until she repents. Okay. They say until she comes back to her husband's obedience. Until she comes back to ta'atu zawjiha, the obedience of her husband. So she loses her right to support and her right to return. And if he divorces her while she's like that, then during her iddah, she does not deserve support. Why? Because she didn't deserve the support while she was married. So if he divorced her, more so, she doesn't deserve the support. But once she repents from that, she will start deserving the support when at dawn, not immediately, at dawn. Because that's when the man's cycle restarts, if you remember. Remember, we talked about if a man were wealthy or poor or middle class. That's based on what? A daily basis, on a daily basis, not a yearly basis, like the kuffar say. They'll say if you make so much money per year, you are poor. You are considered, what do they call it? Poor. Religiously, it goes on a daily basis. So you could be rich one day, you could be poor the next day. If you are poor at dawn, oh man, then you have to support your wife like a poor man that day. And if you were rich at dawn, then you have to support her like a rich man that day. And if you became rich in the middle of the day, you wouldn't have to support her like a rich man until dawn comes in, because your status was already locked in from the dawn. When the wife goes into her rebellion, then her right to support and a turn is dropped. When she gets out of that, then her right is reinstated at dawn. I think that's clear. If you have a question, go ahead, please. Does that mean he can ask her to leave the house since lodging is part of support? Good question. I haven't heard. But the meaning of she loses her right to support includes the lodging. So, but this question has not been posed in my presence or addressed in any lesson that I have been in, so that I can just say to you yes by hearing. Okay. So that's all clear, but I actually jumped right into the action here and forgot to mention the preliminaries here. Before you get to the point of her actually being in a state of rebellion and not supporting her until she repents, the scholars mentioned that it could be that the man would sense that she's going to rebel. And if he senses that, then he should try to, as they say, nip it in the bud. Stop it before it escalates, before it explodes. How would he notice that? What gives him the hint or the like? Something about her changes. Like she used to give him a salam when he would come home and she stopped giving him a salam. Or she used to smile at him and speak to him gently and softly. Now she doesn't smile at him and she doesn't look at him. Like this. So when he notices this, then he should talk to her. What does he say to her? Well, these scholars, they say, he says to her something like, fear Allah and do not forget about the right of the husband over the wife. This is what the scholars mention. And they are wise. Rahimahumullah. Wa jazahumullahu khayran anna. I will just say to you, though, what he's going to say to her, inshallah, he's going to say was nice. That what extinguished the problem if there is one. So he's going to butter her up, for example. He's going to be sweet to her, for example. Just when I imagine a man saying to his wife, fear Allah and remember my right over you, well, if she's God-fearing woman, an intelligent God-fearing woman, that's fine. It's a very fine statement, no problem. But if she is a little bit shaken right now, then maybe you need easier words. And so maybe it's going to bring her a flower or something like that. It's going to be nice to her, inshallah ta'ala. And the scholars, they said, then when he talks to her, then it could be that she would present an excuse to him. Maybe she was sick. Maybe she had a relative who passed away, so she was mourning. Or maybe she was about to crash out on him, but now he stopped it. He caught it. And then she would apologize. Now, if that doesn't work, then so what's the first step? He preaches to her. He lectures her. Yani. Or if that's a little bit too impersonal or stiff, he will sweeten her up. He will butter her up like this. Will pacify her. If this doesn't work, then he refrains from intimacy without abandoning the bed. He refrains from intimacy without abandoning the bed. And maybe he will put his back to her, for example. Very strong. If this doesn't work, then he can not sleep in the bed with her. Yani if she persists more. If she refuses anything but rebellion, then he may, this is spicy for some people. I like to use the word spank. May spank her. Some people don't like spank. They say it feels like juvenile word here, spank. I like spank because of that meaning of lightness, that light meaning. How it's going to be with the likes of a siwak, toothstick. So it's like a pencil, for example. So he would, for example, hit her with that toothstick. It's not a billy club. It's not a police officer here. Not his bare knuckles or open palm or any of that, or body slam or chokehold. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And as long as she is in that state, then she loses her right to support and to return till she comes back from it. And it's not his obligation to divorce her. If he doesn't want to divorce her, he doesn't have to. Because maybe a woman will do like that so that he divorces her. And then she will say to him, well, why don't you just divorce me? Just divorce me. And maybe he won't. And maybe other people would say, just divorce her. And he doesn't. He doesn't have to. Just as a reminder about the rights, because what does it mean to suggest to a person or demand of a person to relinquish a right of his? So should it be said to someone, just divorce her? Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't want to. No, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. Yeah, he should not be forced into that or bullied into that. If he divorced her because she forced him, how could she force him? By, for example, threatening him, uh, threatening to harm him severely. For example, she's tearing up all his house. You want to divorce me now? So she forced him. It's not valid anyway, unless he really intended it. Okay. Any question here? So let's look at custody then. And then I think we're going to be done. Then we'll move on, inshallah, from marriage. So custody is simple. First of all, you have a child that is non-discriminating, like 1 year old, 2, 3, 4, 5, non-discriminating child. And then you have also discriminating child. Yani 7 years old, maybe 6.5 years old, and beyond 8, they're going to be usually discriminating child unless they are slow by the time they're 7. A lot of times 6.5. Before that, if they are very, very smart. There are Muslim children documented to be mumayyiz at 3 years old. Imagine having a conversation, little 3-year-old. MashaAllah. Okay, so this man divorced his wife and they have a child. Who has the right to custody? The woman has the greatest right to custody for the non-discriminating child under 7 conditions. What are they? That she is free, not a slave. If she's a slave woman, then the father has greater right to custody. That she is sane. If she is crazy, father has greater right to custody. Yeah. And when I say the father, this is without details, meaning we're just going to consider the mother and the father are here only, not any grandparents or anything like that, no other family members involved here. So there's talk about others, but now we're just going to say mother or father. And also that she's a Muslimah. If she's kafirah, then the father has greatest right to custody. Also, that she is chaste. If she is a loose woman, then the father has greater right to custody. Yani, she's not a major sinner. And also, she is pubescent one of those? She's going to be pubescent because they had a baby, so that's not one. Also, that she is Single. If she gets married again, then the father has the greater right to custody. This is important here. If she is single, so they got divorced, so that she's single now. As long as she is single, she has the greater right to custody. So, what I mean when I said this is important here, I mean, if she got married, then, wait, did I say that wrong? If she is single, she, the mother, she has a greater right to custody. These are the conditions for her to have the greater right to custody. She is free, not a slave. Sane, not crazy. Muslima, not kafira. Chaste, not loose woman, not major sinner. Single, not married. So if she gets married, the father takes the greater right to custody. That's an important thing here. Why the father takes greater right to custody? There's what the scholars mentioned. What I learned is that she is now under another man, so she becomes her attention now is to be directed towards her husband. Now she has a new husband, so her attention goes to her husband now. So then she's going to give the baby to the father. There's another thing though, which is that that man's gonna like to raise his child also, not another man raise his child. That's an important thing, because Allah knows how often a woman will not give the baby up. She wants to get married and keep the baby too. So this is the issue here. And also that she lives in town, in the same town. She lives in the same town. If either one of them relocates to another town, the father takes the greater right to custody. There's seventh thing, and I'm not remembering it. Subhanallah. Let me see here. Okay. I blended these two here. I said she's chaste, and I said she's not a loose woman. Yeah, and also she's trustworthy. So that's 7. So if all these 7 are confirmed, then she retains the greater right to custody. That's the Shafi'i school. Once the child reaches discrimination, then the child will be asked from time to time, will be given the choice. It's the religious judgment. Now, in so many cases, the parents just agree and don't give the choice to the child. And they just agree amongst themselves. They're going to say, I'm going to take the baby for this much, and you're going to take the baby for this much, or whatever they agree to. That's what I've always seen happen. But the religious rule goes like this: that the child is given the choice from time to time. Who you want to stay with, whichever one they choose, the one they stay with. While though there is sunnah regarding the male child and the female child, there's sunnah regarding their treatment. There's difference as far as sunnah recommendation. Like the father's going to come take the boy out, and it's better to take the boy out, and it's better to visit the girl as opposed to taking her out. So of course you can take her out. Just talk about what's better. Because it's generally better for the woman not to go out when she doesn't have a reason to. So then it's better to visit the girl as opposed to taking her out, and to take the boy out as opposed to merely visiting him in visit. In visit is better for the girl, generally speaking here, and outing is better for the boy. Play. And that's it. The religion's so easy. Any question? Okay. Play. Is there any marriage topic that we are forgetting? We'll stop here, but if What about the discriminating? Yeah, the discriminating child, their case is they are given the choice from time to time. Which one you want to be with, and then whichever one he wants, that's where he goes. That's it. This is the Shafi'i school. Someone told me in Hanafi school, father always has greater right to custody. But that one that I was is not Sheikh. That sister had some issues that she had to deal with. She told me that. That's what she learned. Subhanallah, I was thinking about the case of a person who has not learned anything in decades. Imagine a person for decades didn't learn anything, didn't go to school, didn't take any classes. I'm talking about worldly, neither worldly nor religious. Didn't learn anything in years, years. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Some people are like that. طيب بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك